Get ready, folks, because the news cycle is absolutely buzzing, and you're tuned into the Roger Report for the absolute must-know updates. We're diving headfirst into a whirlwind of stories that are shaping the landscape right now, and trust me, you don't want to miss a single second. From the gridiron to the analyst's desk, the drama is unfolding, and we've got the inside scoop. The game is constantly changing, and staying ahead means staying informed, so buckle up as we break down the headlines that matter most. It's a fast-paced world out there, and we're here to keep you in the loop with energy and insight. Let's get into it. First up, a major figure in the league is sidestepping any talk about past decisions, maintaining a clear focus on the present and the upcoming challenges. This is a story with layers, touching on strategic moves and the personal dynamics that play out behind the scenes in professional sports. We'll unpack the details of why this conversation is being so carefully managed and what it means for the teams involved as they gear up for a significant matchup. It's a masterclass in professional deflection, and we're here to decode it for you. Next, we're shifting gears to another high-profile coach addressing the narratives surrounding a key player's return to a familiar, yet potentially charged, environment. The media is buzzing with talk of revenge, but our guest is keeping it strictly business, emphasizing the game itself. We'll explore how this coach is navigating the hype and what his perspective reveals about the mindset required at the highest levels of competition. It's about staying focused amidst the noise, and this coach is giving us a masterclass. Then, we're turning to an expert analysis that's putting a prominent team's championship aspirations under the microscope. The question on everyone's mind: can a high-profile veteran addition truly catapult this squad into contention? Our analyst is offering a sharp, perhaps even blunt, assessment, dissecting the team's roster, recent history, and the sheer audacity of their ambitions. We'll break down the arguments for and against this bold strategy, exploring whether it's a recipe for success or a long shot. And finally, we've got a critical update on accessing information, a message that every digital citizen needs to hear. It's a reminder about the importance of legitimate interaction in the online space and what happens when the lines get blurred. We'll touch on the implications for content creators and consumers alike, highlighting the measures in place to ensure authenticity. Stay tuned for all this and more, and make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so you never miss an update from the Roger Report. Sidestepping the sidelines. In a move that speaks volumes about professional focus, Jets coach Aaron Glenn has made it clear he's not interested in rehashing past decisions, particularly those involving former player Aaron Rodgers. As the Steelers prepare to face the Jets, Glenn is keeping his gaze firmly fixed on the present, deflecting any questions about his history with Rodgers. This stance comes after a period of intense speculation and public commentary following Rodgers' abrupt departure from the Jets and subsequent signing with the Steelers. Glenn, who was hired in January, has maintained a deliberate silence on the matter of Rodgers. When pressed about what he observed from Rodgers' film during his time with the Jets, Glenn's response was unequivocal. "That's been gone, so I'm not answering questions about guys that's not here and what I've saw. Right now, I'm looking at what our guys can do." He further reinforced this position when asked about scouting Rodgers in the current context, stating, "Just like I said, I'm not going to sit there and answer questions on what I saw back then. That does it. That's not relevant to right now." This firm boundary setting highlights a strategic effort to control the narrative and maintain focus on the team's current objectives. The backdrop to this is the notably messy separation between Rodgers and the Jets. Rodgers himself publicly voiced his dissatisfaction with how the Jets handled his release. In an April appearance on the Pat McAfee Show, Rodgers detailed a meeting he believed was to discuss his future with the team, only to find it cut short and his release communicated abruptly. He described Coach Glenn as failing to show ample respect during the brief encounter, which concluded with Rodgers being informed the team was moving in a different direction at quarterback. This account paints a picture of a communication breakdown that led to Rodgers signing a one-year, $13.65 million contract with the Steelers, including $10 million guaranteed. Despite Glenn's reluctance to dwell on the past, he did acknowledge the significant challenge Rodgers' presence as an opponent. "I mean, "That's really nothing to talk about because of who he is," Glenn stated, praising Rodgers' ability to impact the game in every facet. "So challenges in all ways as far as him as a thrower, getting the guys in and out of the huddle, being able to see the defense, and being able to put the guys in the right position. So listen, guys, he's a future Hall of Famer. We all know that. So he's going to cause the problems no matter what." This respect for Rodgers' capabilities is tempered by the Jets' own preparations and the potential advantage of having practiced against him extensively during the previous summer. Glenn believes there's value in his team's prior experience with Rodgers. I do, but I mean, this guy's a vet. He's seen it all. He's won against a number of guys, but I do think there is some value to our guys to be able to be a part of that," he said. He noted that Rodgers had built good relationships with some players and shared football insights, which Glenn believes contributed to their growth. This perspective suggests that while the past is being put aside, the lessons learned are being carried forward. Adding to the team's situation, key players like cornerback Sauce Gardner, left guard John Simpson, and backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who had been dealing with injuries, were practicing. Gardner's calf injury, Simpson's back issue, and Taylor's knee surgery were all being managed, with Glenn expressing confidence in Taylor's return for the season opener. The team was set to release its first injury report, signaling the official start of the season's preparations. But is this focus on the present enough to overcome the lingering drama? We'll now hear from another coach on the revenge game narrative surrounding the very same quarterback. Keeping it professional. As the NFL season kicks off, the matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets is generating significant buzz, largely centered around quarterback Aaron Rodgers' return to MetLife Stadium. Rodgers, who joined the Jets with Super Bowl aspirations, experienced a tumultuous tenure marked by an early Achilles injury and a subsequent disappointing season. Now, facing his former team, the narrative of a revenge game is palpable. But Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin is steering clear of such dramatic framing. Tomlin expressed his belief that Rodgers, a seasoned veteran, is capable of compartmentalizing the emotional weight of returning to a team from which he had a contentious separation. "He's just been doing it for so long. I'm sure he's capable of compartmentalizing that," Tomlin remarked. "If it means anything to him more than a normal game, he probably wouldn't tell you. So, we're going to go play football." This statement underscores Tomlin's philosophy of focusing on the game itself, unaffected by external narratives or player motivations. The circumstances of Rodgers' departure from the Jets were far from smooth. After signing a contract for another season, the team ultimately released him. Rodgers publicly aired his grievances, detailing an off-season meeting where he felt the Jets' new coaching staff had already made a decision about his future. He recounted in an appearance on the Pat McAfee show how coach Aaron Glenn allegedly left the meeting room abruptly, only to return with the general manager to inform Rodgers of the team's decision to go in another direction at quarterback. This account, which Rodgers shared after flying across the country for the meeting, fueled public discussion, especially after the NFL schedule revealed the Steelers would open the season against the Jets. Rodgers himself has attempted to downplay any lingering animosity. "I'm not going to take any shots at my previous organization if that's what you're trying to get me to do," he told reporters in June. This sentiment contrasts with the public perception and the media's eagerness to frame the game as a personal vendetta. Adding another layer to the narrative, Jets head coach Aaron Glenn, when questioned about Rodgers, declined to discuss the specifics of their past interactions. Instead, he focused on the on-field challenges Rodgers' presence, acknowledging him as a future Hall of Famer who will inevitably cause problems no matter what. This mutual professional courtesy, or perhaps strategic deflection, aims to keep the focus on the competitive aspect of the upcoming game. Interestingly, Tomlin also addressed a similar situation involving former Steelers quarterback Justin Fields, who signed with the Jets this offseason. Fields, a free agent who left the Steelers, also faces his former team in Week 1. Tomlin differentiated Fields' situation from a release, emphasizing the mutual nature of free agency. "It's free agency. It was not only our decision, it was his decision. It was mutual," Tomlin explained. He highlighted the complexity of free agency, suggesting that such moves are rarely framed as personal disputes. Fields' performance last season, where he went 4-2 as a starter before being replaced by Russell Wilson, adds context to his departure and the upcoming matchup. While coaches are keeping it professional, what are the experts saying about the impact of these veteran moves? We're now going to hear from an analyst who has some strong opinions on the Steelers' championship aspirations. A bold prediction or a reach? The Pittsburgh Steelers, under the consistent leadership of head coach Mike Tomlin, have built a reputation for reliability, consistently avoiding losing seasons and frequently reaching the playoffs. However, their inability to secure a playoff victory since 2016 has been a persistent hurdle. This offseason, the team aimed to break that streak by making a significant move, signing veteran quarterback Aaron Rodgers. The impact of a top-tier quarterback can undeniably reshape a franchise's trajectory. The crucial question now is whether a 41-year-old Rodgers, whose recent seasons have been challenging, can be the catalyst for the Steelers' playoff resurgence. He has a more recent playoff win than the Steelers, dating back to 2020, but his performance in the last few years has been a point of concern. ESPN analyst Dan Graziano offered a measured, yet critical perspective on the Steelers' prospects with Rodgers. Speaking on SportsCenter, Graziano addressed whether the Steelers could truly be considered contenders with their new quarterback. In theory, yes, he stated, but quickly added a caveat. But I think a lot has to go right for this Steelers team to be more than what it has been in recent years, which is that 9-8, 10-7, 6th or 7th seed in the AFC playoffs. They're trying to elevate beyond that. He expressed skepticism about Rodgers' ability to elevate the team to championship status at his age, calling the idea a little far-fetched. On the surface, the argument for the Steelers' improvement is compelling. Last season, they achieved a 10-7 record despite inconsistent quarterback play towards the end of the year. If Rodgers can deliver even an average performance in the upcoming season, it would represent a significant upgrade. Furthermore, local sports radio personality Jeff Hathhorn anticipates Rodgers will exceed expectations in his debut against the New York Jets, suggesting a positive immediate impact. The team has also bolstered its defense with key veteran additions, including cornerbacks Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay, and promising rookies like defensive lineman Derek Harmon and Yahya Black. These moves, combined with a potentially revitalized offense led by Rodgers, could paint a picture of a significantly improved Steelers squad compared to the previous season. However, Graziano's skepticism is rooted in the team's reliance on aging talent. Rodgers, Slay, and Ramsey are all over 30, with Rodgers set to turn 42 in December. Key defensive anchors like T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward are also in their 30s. This concentration of veteran players, particularly on the defensive side, introduces a significant element of risk, as age can bring increased vulnerability to injuries and a decline in performance. Adding to the offensive concerns, the Steelers' wide receiver core, outside of perhaps DK Metcalf, lacks proven high-level playmakers. Graziano pointed out that neither the Steelers nor Rodgers have achieved significant playoff success in recent memory, further questioning the team's contender status. While the situation might not be entirely impossible, the confluence of age, potential performance decline, and a lack of consistent offensive firepower makes the Steelers' championship aspirations appear ambitious. So, while the expert analysis offers a dose of reality, there's also a crucial message about navigating the digital world. We'll wrap up with an important reminder about online access and verification. Navigating the digital gatekeepers. In an era where information flows freely, a stark reminder has emerged regarding the protocols and terms of service governing access to online content. Our system has flagged user behavior that potentially indicates automated activity, prompting a critical message for all visitors. This situation underscores the measures taken by content providers to protect their intellectual property and maintain the integrity of their platforms. News Group Newspapers Limited, the entity behind this service, has explicitly stated its terms and conditions, which prohibit the access, collection, or text data mining of any content through automated means, whether directly or via intermediaries. This policy is particularly relevant in the context of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and large language models, which often rely on vast datasets for training and operation. The prohibition aims to safeguard the original work of journalists and publishers and ensure that any commercial exploitation of their content is properly licensed and authorized. For those interested in the commercial use of this content, the designated contact point is Crawl Permission at News, Co. UK. This channel is available for inquiries regarding licensing agreements and partnerships, ensuring that any use of the material adheres to legal and ethical standards. It's a clear directive for businesses and developers seeking to leverage published content for their own purposes. The message also acknowledges that automated systems can sometimes misinterpret legitimate human behavior. For users who believe they have been mistakenly flagged, a clear recourse is provided, contacting the customer support team at help@Thesson, Co. UK. This ensures that genuine visitors are not unfairly restricted from accessing the service and provides a pathway for resolving any technical or procedural discrepancies. The notice reiterates the company's stance. News Group prohibits automated access, collection, or text data mining of its content, including for AI, machine learning, or LLMs, as per its terms. This firm position highlights the ongoing challenges in balancing open access to information with the need to protect copyrighted material in the digital age. The company's terms are legally binding and are in place to maintain the value and exclusivity of their journalistic output. Furthermore, the notice includes standard legal disclaimers and information, such as copyright details, registered office addresses, and trademark information for the Roger Report, Sun, and Sun Online. It also references adherence to the privacy and cookie policy and the Independent Press Standards Organization, IPSO, for regulatory oversight. The company's commitment to accuracy is also mentioned, with a clear process for addressing and correcting any errors through their editorial complaints policy. This brings us to the end of our news updates for today. But before you go, let's do a quick recap of the top stories we covered. That's a wrap on today's essential updates. We saw Jets coach Aaron Glenn sidestep questions about Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin downplay the revenge game narrative, and an analyst question the Steelers' contender status with Rodgers. Plus, a reminder about online access protocols. Don't miss out on future breakdowns. Hit that like button, subscribe to the Roger Report, ring the notification bell, drop a comment with your thoughts, and follow us on all social media platforms for more.